and welcome to News Update today, reaching you live from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria, the nation's commercial capital. And I'm Deborah Ezeh. And now looking into Africa, Somali's government spokesman Mohammed Ibrahim Mualimu was wounded on Sunday after an alleged suicide bomb attack. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office confirmed the attack and added that the spokesman's wounds were not serious. A local witness described the attack that was later claimed by the Al-Shabaab group. And now in Mali, Malians took to the streets en masse on Friday after the military junta called for protests against stringent sanctions imposed by the West African bloc Ecowas over delayed elections. In the capital Bamako, thousands of people wearing the national colors of red, yellow and green gathered in a central square for a rally staged by the military government and sang patriotic songs. Interim Prime Minister Choguel Kokala Maiga, wearing military uniforms, addressed a crowd massed in a main square, evoking the history of African resistance against colonials. He also paid special tribute to China and Russia for opposing the illegal and illegitimate embargo against the people. And now still in Mali, Mali's Prime Minister announced on Saturday that the country would lodge a formal complaint against economic sanctions imposed by Ecowas and the West African Economic and Monetary Union. The announcement was made by Transitional Prime Minister Choguel Maiga during an interview broadcast by the state television. During the interview, Choguel Maiga accused former colonial power, France, of being behind the sanctions in an effort to destabilize the country. Despite the accusations, the Transitional Prime Minister said the negotiations with Ecowas were ongoing. And now we head to Nigeria, where there are strong indications that the state and federal governments are against on a coalition course as the Federation Account Allocation Committee holds its first meeting in 2022 on Wednesday. State officials faulted the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation's continued deduction from FAAC funds to finance fuel subsidy, saying the issue would come up at Wednesday's meeting. They said this as the NNPC was set to deduct 270.83 billion naira from January FAAC allocations that will be shared by state, federal, and local governments on Wednesday. The NNPC had it in its report to FAAC in December 2021, stated that it would deduct some funds as value shortfall incurred by the oil firm in January 2022. And still in Nigeria, in business, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, in a presentation of the 2022 approved budget, disclosed that the government borrowed 6.7 trillion naira between January and November 2021. The new borrowing in the period under review consists of 5.1 trillion naira domestic debt and 1.6 trillion naira. The domestic debt, however, includes borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria, according to the presentation document. In March 2021, the Debt Management Office had disclosed that the country's total public debt stock was 32.9 trillion naira as of December 2020. An additional 6.7 trillion naira loan means the total public debt stock would be about 39.6 trillion naira as of November 2021. The DMO had disclosed that the country's total public debt increased to 33.1 trillion naira at the end of the first quarter of 2021 from 32.9 trillion naira in December 2020, showing an increase of about 200 billion. In second quarter 2021, the total debt stock rose by 2.4 trillion naira to 35.5 trillion naira by June 2021. And now on to the foreign scene. President Emmanuel Macron today touted 21 new foreign investment projects in France, and the booming economy has proved his economic reforms have been bearing fruit less than 3 months before a presidential election in which he is expected to run. US drug maker Pfizer also announced on Monday a 520 million euros investment plan in France. As the presidential race heats up, his aides are keen to shift the debate away from immigration and law and order issues and put the spotlight on the economy, which has been recovering strongly from the COVID-19 pandemic. And now in China, mainland China's birth rate dropped to a record low in 2021. Data showed on Monday, extending a downward trend that led Beijing last year to begin allowing couples to have up to 3 children. China scrapped its decades-old one-child policy in 2016, replacing it with a 2-child limit to try to avoid the economic risks from a rapidly aging population. But the high cost of urban living has deterred couples from having more children. The 2021 rate of 7.52 births per 1,000 people was the lowest since 1949, when the National Statistics Bureau began collating the data, adding further pressure on officials to encourage more births. And more updates from the foreign scene. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said on Monday the shortages of at-home antigen tests were not unique to the country as authorities deal with a runaway Omicron outbreak that has driven up hospitalization rates and strained testing systems. In a bid to ease pressure on its testing hubs, Victoria from Monday began rolling out 3 million antigen tests to frontline workers and the vulnerable population, while many other states awaited millions of testing kits to be delivered. After successfully containing the virus earlier in the pandemic, Australia has reported nearly 1.3 million cases over the last 2 weeks, overwhelming hospitals and testing clinics. So far, Australia has reported around 1.6 million infections and 2,699 deaths since the pandemic began. And still on the foreign scene in Philippines, the Philippines Election Commission today threw out a petition seeking to bar the son of the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos from running in the year's election, one of the several complaints filed in an attempt to derail his presidential bid. The petition had sought to invalidate the candidacy of Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who was emerged as a clear favorite after accusing him of misrepresenting his eligibility because of prior tax conviction. The second division of the Commission on Election dismissed the complaint. And now on to the sports scene. Liverpool moved up to second place in the Premier League table with a routine 3-0 win over Brentford at Anfield on Sunday, thanks to goals from Fabinho, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Takumi Minamino. Manchester City's win over now third-place Chelsea on Saturday underlined the defending champions' dominance in the title race, but Liverpool ensured they finished the weekend how they started it. 11 points behind City with a game in hand and the trip to the Etihad still to come. And finally, Esteban Obiang scored 20 minutes from the time as Equatorial Guinea pulled off one of the great Africa Cup of Nations finals upsets with a 1-0 win over Algeria on Sunday. The sharp Group E result leaves Algeria bottom of the standings and needing a win in their last group game against Ivory Coast on Thursday to stand any chance of advancing. And now for more information on our top stories, you can watch AFRICUNIA television news on our website on www.africunia.tv. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram and Facebook respectively. Link us up on AFRICUNIA_TV. And that is a news update today. Join us on top of the hour for all the programs on our subsequent programs bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. I am Deborah Ezeh.